that sent a shockwave across the NFL. Bill Belichick, 8-time Super Bowl winning coach, will not be a first ballot Hall of Famer. Sources told ESPN that Spygate and Deflategate came up in deliberations, and Bill Polian argued that Belichick should wait a year due to the scandals. Polian denied these claims. Here's ESPN senior writer Seth Wickersham on SportsCenter.
I think that part of it is procedural. You can, in that particular line of voting, you can vote for up to 3 candidates. So I think that there are some voters who voted for other people thinking that Bill would get in. There's some people who maybe put Belichick lower on their list. And then I think there are people who are still frustrated, feeling like that teams around the NFL were cheated out of wins because of the Spygate controversy.
I appreciate the explanation. All ridiculous. The news caused a strong reaction, of course, on social media all around the world of sports, including from Patrick Mahomes, J.J. Watt, LeBron James. We all weighed in on it as well. Peter Schrager joins us now here on First Take. And Schrags, I know you've got different perspectives on this as well, but what was your reaction to this insanity?
Bemusement, surprise, befuddlement. The irony of it all is there is no greater historian of the game and someone who loves the history of the sport and reveres Canton, Ohio more than Bill Belichick. This is someone who as a kid would take pilgrimages to Canton, Ohio, and then go and study the text in the bottom of the actual building, who as a coach in Cleveland would make his team go to Canton, Ohio to walk the halls of the Hall of Fame every year as part of the ritual. Belichick is Canton, and where everyone else dismisses that whole process and what it is, Belichick revered it. So for him to be the one on the doorstep not getting in, it is quite a sick irony. I will add this. The Hall of Fame is not voted on by an algorithm. It is not voted on by AI, and it is not done by analytics. It is done by 50 people, and 11 of them, or potentially more than 11 of them, sent a message. Whether you like it or not, and whether it's right or wrong, these are humans. And a lot of them are reporters and writers. And if you want to call them gatekeepers, you should. They are the gatekeepers of the hallowed halls of the Hall of Fame. And whether you think it's right or wrong, they have a voice. And they did not want or allow Bill Belichick in on the first ballot. To even go even further now, it's supposed to all be anonymous.
No, but it's not thinking.
It's supposed to be anonymous, but the flood of reporters and Hall of Fame voters who rush to social media to raise their hands and say, I voted for him, wasn't me. I voted for him, wasn't me. It goes against the ranks of themselves and saying, hey, there are 11 out there who didn't.
Go ahead.
Smoke them out. Let's see who it is.
Swaggle, go ahead.
They're starting to come out. Go ahead. Swag.
And Trey, this is not directed toward, but it's not thinking. The whole point is it should have been no thought about Bill Belichick being a first ballot Hall of Famer. I know that you're saying how these humans get in this room and they make a decision and like it or not, or think it's right or not. It's not right. That's the problem. We blur lines too much in certain situations that should be clear. This should be clear. I think that is the visceral reaction that everybody has, that this should absolutely be clear. Spygate, Deflategate included. This still, take them away. Take those Super Bowls away. He still got 7. He still got those wins. He still has everything that tells you what a first ballot Hall of Famer should be. This is not about thinking. This is people's personal vendetta getting in the way of what should be a very rational going forward and putting Bill Belichick in the Hall of Fame. And that is where my problem lies. And again, we don't need to argue for argument's sake on whether you agree or disagree or think that they deserve the right to make this decision. And reporters, I don't give a damn if it was a mongoose off a tree in Africa. You could tell everybody that Bill Belichick should be a first ballot Hall of Famer based on what the literal Hall of Fame is built on. That is the literal Hall of Fame is built on trying to decipher the guys and the coaches that are one of one. that have done things that we understand is greater than what majority of the people that have an opportunity to be a part of this league has done. And the irony in this is not the fact that this is reporters and people making decisions. The irony is that the guy that should be the literal definition of what a Hall of Famer is not going to be in the Hall of Fame on the first ballot.
But
That dilutes the idea of what a Hall of Fame is. I don't give a damn what they think. They watered it down.
Doggy?
Yeah, listen, first off, the 11 writers who didn't vote for him or more, as Peter said, should have the guts to tell us who they are and why they didn't. This is professional sports. This is not life-threatening. You should have the guts. I have a Heisman vote. I always tell people who I voted for. I told people on a radio show who I voted for the President of the United States. You should have you're a public figure in this case. You should show us, I didn't vote for Belichick for this reason. Have the guts to do it. That's number one. Number two, let's not absolve Bill Polian in this situation. He loves Kraft. He has been a Kraft supporter forever, and Kraft should be in the Hall of Fame. Stevie said earlier, if Jones is in, how's Kraft not in? Kraft should be in the Hall of Fame. Kraft's been too public about it the last 12 years, basically campaigning, which is completely wrong and it's a turnoff, but he should be in the Hall of Fame. And Polian hates Belichick. Kraft doesn't like him either, but Polian hates Belichick. Remember, who the Patriots always beat? They beat the Colts. They beat, and obviously Deflategate came against the Colts. And so Polian, who's a Hall of Famer himself, thanks to Paul Tagliabue, telling everybody, let's give him a timeout for a year, because that was the Van Natta Wickersham quote, in quotes. Well, he should wait a year for his spike game. Who the heck is Bill Polian? Who made Bill Polian the conscience of the NFL Hall of Fame? I didn't do that. Stephen A. didn't do that. Flacco didn't do that. And obviously Peter didn't do it. We made Bill Polian, who I don't even think's in the Hall of Fame. He shouldn't be in the Hall of Fame. He won one Super Bowl in 40 years, and he had Manning. We're going to make Bill Polian, and then he tells Van Natta last night, well, I'm pretty sure I voted for freaking Belichick. How do we mean pretty sure? The vote was 2 weeks ago, for crying out loud. Who wouldn't realize who you voted for? It was a 2 weeks ago vote. This is not the 1960. This is not the 1962 presidency. You know, I don't remember if it's Nixon or Kennedy. This is 2 weeks ago. So I put a lot of blame on Polian. And remember this, too, before I throw it to Steve, I don't want to go too long. Remember this, too. In that Patriot documentary that the Patriots were the overseers of, including the owner, who did they kill for 10 episodes? Who was the villain? I watched every single one of them. Who was the villain? Belichick.
Ew.
Belichick made him the villain with Hernandez, Spygate. He basically washed his hands on everything. Well, the head coach. They made Belichick out to be the bad guy. Kraft did not want to celebrate next July in Canton on a hot night with Stephen A. watching. He did not want to celebrate or share that stage with freaking Belichick. And Bill Polian made sure that wasn't going to happen.
I love my man, Mr. Kraft. I really, really do. I've known him for years. I will not be watching the Hall of Fame. Matter of fact, I will encourage everybody out there not to watch the Hall of Fame ever again. This is a disgrace. It's a disgrace. A matter of fact, it's so disgraceful if they call Bill Belichick without correcting this decision and they still made him wait to be a second ballot, third ballot, whatever, I wouldn't show up. That's how disgraceful this decision is. Now, we know that we here doing first take, swagoo, doggy, the whole bit. Let me be very, very clear as a former high school beat writer, college beat writer, pro beat writer, pro columnist, general sports columnist, long before I ever went into television. I am unapologetic about who the hell I don't like. There are certain dudes that can kiss my ass. I don't like them at all, okay? I would never, ever discredit what they accomplished because that's a reflection on me and it's a reflection on the industry itself. Those 10 plus voters that didn't vote Bill Belichick in is a disgrace to the industry. Every negative stereotype, every negative syllable that has been uttered about reporters who walk around bitter, holding grudges, allowing their personal feelings to interfere with their personal judgment. You just gave credence and credibility to every suspicious and skeptical argument that has been thrown in the direction of members of the Fourth Estate and beyond. All of this time, you just gave him credibility. It ain't just reporters, because Bill Polian is not a reporter. Bill Polian is a former six-time executive, okay? You know, and others. So it's not just the reporters. It's people like him saying, you don't remember 100% whether you voted for the man or not 2 weeks ago, but in the same breath, you're saying that he deserves to be. Well, if you're saying he deserves to be in the Hall of Fame, how the hell do you not remember whether or not you voted for him to be in the Hall of Fame just 2 weeks ago? It makes no sense. Sit down. You're older. Clearly something's missing. Sit down. We don't need to hear from Bill Polian ever again, okay? Because it's just a disgraceful situation with him. But to the members of the media who voted against Bill Belichick for clearly personal reasons, there is nothing about this man's football resume that you can utter to justify this vote. I don't care how you feel about him. Okay? And by the way, I'm a nice guy. I might dislike you today. We might be cool a week from now, a month from now, whatever. I'm not holding grudges. Life is too short. I'm trying to be happy, okay? So I don't hate anybody. But if I did, I still would vote. There's no way in hell I'm not voting for a T.O. to be in the Hall of Fame.
I was gonna
First ballot. There's no way in the hell. What are you going to do to LeBron James next? Four-time champion, four-time league MVP,
him, right?
10 NBA finals. We going to say he's not in the Hall of Fame? Steph Curry, the babyface assassin, who's beloved by everybody. There might be one dude don't like him. Oh, my goodness, who's that person? You ain't going to vote for Steph Curry, the greatest shooter God has ever created? You're going to retract your vote against Michael Jordan, a six-time NBA champion? You're going to say that Pippen's the reason he won? We're not giving it to him. You're going to ignore Phil Jackson's 11 NBA championships? What are you going to do? I think Phil Jackson should be banned from New York into perpetuity forever with the job he did with the Knicks. Forever. But it doesn't take away from the fact that, my God, this is one of the greatest coaches ever. Steve Kerr, people lament his sanctimonious stuff that he gets on. Damn it, he's right most of the time. Let's get that out the way. Secondly, he's a four-time champion. You're going to ignore him? I mean, my God, to be a member of the Fourth Estate and to not vote in Bill Belichick, you have shredded the credibility of the Hall of Fame. It shouldn't be watched. It shouldn't be celebrated. And anybody who's going into the Hall of Fame, think about this. You have to sit back as a first ballot Hall of Fame and go like this. Is my resume better than Bill Belichick's? The answer is no. We don't even know who it is. Other than Tom Brady, the answer is going to be no. And by the way,